good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon and welcome.
So we are putting together these stories. Particularly, we have our interest on Chief Dr. Clement Isong, and we're compiling these voices so we can tell a story of who he was and his contributions to national building. So thank you for your time, really.
Thank you.
All right, so please kindly tell us who you are, your name, and the relationship you had with him while he was alive. Please.
Well, Obong Mkpoette Stevenson Effanga is my name.
Okay.
And I am from Mkpoette in Ona local government. I was once a commissioner, I was once a permanent secretary, once a director of fire service, permanent secretary, commissioner, and chairman of the Obong Airport Development Company Limited.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So when Chief Dr. Clement Isong was alive, what relationship did you have with him?
He was my mentor.
Okay.
My mentor, and I learned a lot from him. He was then the governor of Cross River State when I was in charge of the fire service.
Okay.
So,
I
I didn't work directly under him, but he used me for a lot of sensitive jobs.
It may not be possible to recount everything about him, but let's see if we can tell your most beautiful memories of him.
A man of integrity. If you worked with his son, you must make sure that you're perfect in everything. He demanded probity and accountability. He adopted me as a son, and if he had anything he wanted to get results from, he would set me up there, as me to date. So that was the man. If he sends you to do anything, you must do it and come back with full report. I will do it and put up my expenditure and the balances and so on to the last kobo. He trusted me, and he was he influenced my life a lot, himself and the wife. In fact, I became a family member to them. I remember when armed robbers attacked him in his house in Uyo here. And my daughter was getting married at that time. And I asked him to become the chairman of the ceremony. And he said, he was very sick, but he said he was going to do it for me. Even if he dies after that, he will be satisfied. That was the level of relationship and trust and likeness he had for me. And he did. He attended. They heard him. He climbed up the staircase to the podium and officiated as chairman in that wedding. And a few months later, he died. That was my father, his son. He gave his son, Coco Clement Jr., to me. He eventually said, you take Clement, go, Clement, you go. Whatever Effanga says, that's what I will do. And we were one. I'm a member of that family. I thank God for knowing them.
In the course of running interviews with people about this man, I already feel like I know him because I've heard several things. But from your angle, from your eyes, what virtues do you think he lived by, he held in high esteem? One of those things, or maybe more than one, that you would want leaders today to emulate.
He trusted God. Dr. Clement Isong was a very upright person. He was not interested in making money. As some of our leaders, people do today, they run around. It didn't mean anything to him. In fact, in the former Cross River State, the Federal Mortgage Bank used to give out loans to citizens, and Imo, not Imo, it was then East Central State or so, they will take all the allocations and go back to it into the allocations that were meant for Cross River State and the River State then. And somebody who was in charge, the area manager of the Federal Mortgage Bank, got to know me and wanted to see Dr. Clement Isong to tell him what was happening in the bank. And they wanted to remove him so that he would not stop this other group from getting allocations for Akwa and Rivers and Cross River. The man met me and I took him to His Excellency, Dr. Clement Isong. He quickly gave an instruction to his secretary to government, then Professor Obong, to get in touch with the governor of Rivers State at that time and make sure that they teamed up to stop the use of our own allocations, Cross River allocations. And that was done. And me, that was how I benefited to get a loan to build my first house. And so many people from Cross River State got that loan. Otherwise, it would never have happened. So, and the young man who was the area manager was promoted and transferred out. So, Isong was a very upright man, a man of integrity and God-fearing.
What kind of friend was he to the people around him?
He was very much loved, but he wasn't the kind of politician we have these days. He wasn't like the people who would not. 9 o'clock in the night, he's up there in his bedroom. From there, we'll sleep. He wasn't keeping all the late nights, running around for money, doing the kind of things we see in politics these days.
Okay, sir. So, what would you think are his greatest legacies?
He set up the champion breweries, the Plasto Crown industries, the asbestonet factory in Oron. He set up the biscuit factory in Mkpoette, and of course the University of Cross River State, which is now the university here, was started by him, and he did very well. I think we will leave our children and all of us will always remember that man.
So you would say it was the beginning of the drive for industrialization in this part of the world?
He touched every part, even the monetary aspects of governance. Your salaries were paid on time. People received their salaries. They were not. It was as if there are times you come in, your salaries are not paid. Pensioners had their money and so on.
So you think he deserved the honor the nation gave him by putting his face on our currency?
Oh my God, this country fought a war, the civil war, without borrowing a kobo from anywhere. Dr. Clement Isong piloted that.
So do you miss him, sir?
Oh, my father, yes, I do. I will never live to remember him. Yes.
What do you miss about him? You and him related. What really do you miss?
His stories. His stories, advice, yes.
Maybe
advice.
you should tell us one of them. Do you still remember some of his advice? What did he like to say? What was popular in his vocabulary, in his stories? Tell us one or two or scenarios. You people played together. We're trying to relive those days. Let's see if we that were not there can enjoy a bit of who he was.
Well, when it comes to stories, he will relax very well, put his hand, listen to me. He will always point at you. This is the point I want to make. Fear God and love your people. Fear God and love your people. He's always, when he's talking his hands, he will point at you, making sure you understand him. Isong was not interested in whatever anybody made as money. And he will always say, look, God makes man rich, so you don't have to struggle too much for everything. His stories, there was once he said, he told me when he was small, his father used to take him to Aba to buy things, and they used to stay in my own father's house. My father was good, so you must be good. And I didn't let him down.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
I'm wondering if we had that kind of person today, with the kind of elections we had, the way it's fearful, it's almost frightful being part of our elections. Why was it like that in his time?
He would not do anything like that. He wasn't, these days, young men who drop out from schools and run into find politics as a haven for them to make money. And it didn't happen during Dr. Clement Isong's time. It didn't happen at all. I remember when he wasn't liked by those people, the grabbers of government money and funds and so on. And they wanted him out by all means because he wasn't used to giving in to their demands. And I remember one time a senator in Cross River State will travel from Lagos, come back and carry a check papers. I have brought your salaries. I've brought your salaries from Lagos. Lagos was not paying salaries for Cross River State workers, but Isong does not have money, does not want to pay you, so I brought the check, and we are going to pay you. But as God had it, after doing that, Isong will pay salaries. I know it's just politics. They didn't want him to stay there because he was not going to share any money. He wasn't sharing.
He wouldn't share what belongs to the
He was not sharing. He wasn't sharing it like that. He will use it and account for it.
If it was today, he was here today, would he be proud of the kind of Nigeria we're having today?
It wasn't the Nigeria of government, Isong. What we are having now is not the kind of government and Nigeria he would have wanted to see. Government, as I said, he was around as the central bank governor during the Civil War, and Nigeria had enough money. They didn't spend. They had money to execute the war, finish the war, and did not borrow. So you can see.
Well, as someone who was there in his time, would you like to throw an advice or two to our leaders that you would think he would tell these people leading us today?
when you are set up somewhere there to lead or work for the people, remember that you are working for them, you are not working for yourself. I see when people become whatever and they think it is their own prerogative, it is to share money. Somebody saying, I want them. Dr. Clement Isong. Government ministry. Governor Isong. And so that was why he worked. And when there was no money, you know, the kind of money then, now you people just spend money. But I thank God that our brother Obong came in and has a fear of God in him to do what he's doing. And the fear of God, because he said the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So he may not be liked by many people because everything now is money, 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 and more money. I want to add that Dr. Clement Isong, as the former governor of Cross River State, should be honored with something monumental, something to show his status. If the federal government of Nigeria could put his picture, his face, in the currency of this country, I don't see why our own father and son of Akwa Ibom State would not be honored with a very important edifice. Even name any of these big roads after him. Say, for instance, the road on this other side of Udodoma, that's the one from Akar Road, opposite Udodoma to Abak Road that is being built now by His Excellency Udom Emmanuel, should be named after Dr. Clement Isong, and people will appreciate it. And I'm saying that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. There's some character traits in Governor Obong that was there in Dr. Clement Isong.
Of course.
What's the likeness between the two?
Integrity. Integrity. You don't just walk and dip hands into the treasury and take money. Yes, I have worked in government and I can tell you how certain people used to. You went to award a contract and you finish awarding the contract, you finish doing whatever you want to do, and you carry papers to people to go and ratify for you. Some, they don't even ratify. They don't know what it means to ratify when you have. But it was a system. It was a system. It's not. Udom is God sent. I have not worked for him. I have not worked for anybody. I'm not here, I'm not there. But I'm just telling you that he is like Dr. Clement Isong in some areas. But when it comes to politics, I mean, he too is learning, but he's learning with caution. But right now, nobody would throw him around as anything. But before, but if he had a problem he had with his predecessor, it was because of what I'm talking about. He will not dip his hands anyhow to just make unnecessary money just for the sake of being governor. They didn't put people there to go and carry the commonwealth of the people and pocket. We thank God.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, madam. God bless you. Yes.